Okay, today I'm going to take a couple minutes and I'm going to explain to you guys how I start my coon hunting mules. I get a lot of phone calls on the process, and it's a whole lot easier just to show you in a short little video here. The thing is about training mules is a mule is a creature of habit, and it's so important to get a really good foundation, and you can really mess a mule up, and it's gonna hurt you when you're out hunting and you come to jumping fences and they form bad habits early on, and it's just a confidence. It really comes down to confidence, and so you need to set your mule up early on to form good habits, to build confidence when it comes to a jump. And I'm going to take a couple minutes here. I'm going to show you what I got. So get yourself a good piece of steel, something that they won't bend. I wouldn't use wood. You don't want them, it'll work, but if a mule was to land on it and break it, they can get into a bad habit of landing on fences, smashing them down. So you want to set them up right away to know they have to get over it, and that they can't. You don't want a mule to get pushy onto a fence, or to get lazy and to get smashing fences down. There's nothing worse than wrecking a farmer's fence, and you have to either fix it right on the spot or go back first thing in the morning and fix a farmer's fence. That's no fun. So the idea is to get a mule to be a good, confident, clean jumper every time. And so what you need is you need a couple of good posts. I cement them right into the ground. Okay, I want them cemented in, and then just a couple pieces of chain, and you can kind of figure out, depending on what kind of steel you're using, how long, and I just lag them into there. So I've got there's three different heights here. Okay, and when you start, you always start on the lowest setting. And I would prefer to start at a height that is above something that they're just going to walk over. Okay, you want right away to establish that getting up on their back, or squatting on their back end, their back feet, and learning to pop over. You don't want them, when they come to a fence, even if it's a low fence, you don't want them to think that they can walk over it. Okay, you always want them to have to jump. So that's key, is get it above the height that they're going to walk over it. Okay, so but start low enough that they can build confidence right off the bat. Okay, and then so once they get good at that, then you can just raise it up, but I wouldn't raise it up too fast. There does become a point that you want to push your mule, because a mule will jump only as high as they have to. Okay, and I think you'll see that. We'll do another video of the mules jumping, or some clips that we'll add to this video, and you will see that no matter how high we get this bar, that the mule will just jump just high enough to get over it most of the time. Okay, so if you get a mule, another really bad habit is a mule, when they're gauging a fence, is they will go up to it and push their chest into the wire, which is a bad habit, because then if they get sometimes a mule will just want to bulldoze through a fence. So if that happens early on, right away, if I see a mule getting pushy on my jump at all, and only then do I use this bar here. This is last resort, but a mule is also a creature of self-preservation. Okay, they are not going to do anything that's going to hurt themselves on purpose. Okay, so I took a pipe here and I just wrapped it with barbed wire. You can see, and this isn't to cause a lot of pain or anything on the mule. It's just that if they're going to get pushy on a fence or something, I just want something that's going to establish that a little bit of pain, enough that they get poked a few times so they learn to respect a fence before we get out there in the field and we're coon hunting and you get to a fence and a mule gets pushing on a fence and wrecking it. And the other thing is that sometimes a mule will get lazy and won't get up and get over them. And the idea is you want them to get up and get over without touching it. And so if I got a mule that gets a little lazy in the early stages, I just put this on there, and all they got to do is get scratched just a little tiny bit, and the mule, you know, will do whatever it has to get over it without touching it. So this pipe fits in them adjustments real easy. You just, you know, you can you know, replace this with the other one if you see that as a problem. So I think that's about it. I'm gonna go grab a mule. You can see them, they're patiently waiting in the background there. They're all waiting their turn to jump. And you're gonna see that they enjoy jumping. Okay, another thing to think about when you're building your jump is to build it so that the water source is on one side of the jump and the food source is on the other. In the winter, you're feeding hay, or in the summer, you're feeding, you know, they're on pasture, but you want it so they have to jump in to get water and they have to jump to go get grass or hay. And that's, you know, mules are gonna, when they get thirsty, they're gonna jump. And when they get hungry, they're gonna jump. So it'll be something that they'll just, you know, the more they jump, the better they get. The more practice, the more comfortable they get. So today we're gonna jump a mule that I never jumped him off a lead, but you're gonna see that he already, because he's been jumping in and getting water, jumping out to go get the pasture, is that he's already comfortable. Now he's just got to get comfortable, and it needs to be a habit that when I'm on a lead, when I lead him up, you know, he knows that I'm asking him to jump. So anyway, we'll get on with that. Okay, here we have Snickers.